guys, are you ready? This is Babs, your international vocal coach, coming to you with another exciting podcast. Chats with Babs. This is where your inspiration and motivation get you up and on your feet so you can raise your voice and empower the world. Protools for Public Speakers is our current series, and this series will help you to give you the tools you need so we can empower you with your voice and help you to be able to use tools and tips and tricks by professionals on how for you to get it together. There he is, Mr. Glenn Lundy. Hey, Glenn.
Yo, 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 yo.
Hi, how are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so excited. Yay! Like it's still 5.
Excited as well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you taking time to join us today. And let me put my little thing on. Are you taking over the chat box? All right. So, Glenn, just to give you a quick spiel, and then I'll edit my things later, but I have it going live on Facebook for now, and then we will be taking it off there. It'll be on our 5 different podcasts that we have, and the different things that Mer has all set up there. So she'll be sending it out. I'm going to go through those questions that I asked, that I sent over to you, just so you can know. We'll talk a couple other things, but we've just been super. We had a chance to watch your video on last night on Who Are You? So we're super excited.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad to see that you're still awake. I was wondering, I'm like, does he take naps in the middle of the day at 3:00 in the morning?
No naps right now. I'll nap later. I'll nap later in life.
So, Glenn, if you don't mind, and I'm going to start. Hello, everyone. My name is Babs Alexander, your international vocal coach, and I am here with Mr. Glenn Lundy, the greatest speaker in America. I have been working with Glenn. I'm telling you, I've been watching Mr. Glenn for the past, I will say 6 months at least, right, Glenn? Or maybe a little longer.
It's been a little...
I've been consistent because I've truly been enjoying every morning. If you have not been on Clubhouse or watched him on Facebook Live, I truly ask you to take time to get up, make sure you prepare yourself to...
Better be ready. Don't be coming around. You better be ready.
Absolutely. At 5:30, he is full of energy. And that's one of my very first questions to you, Glenn, is how do you get your voice ready and prepared to be able to speak to people at 5:30 in the morning without having that morning voice?
Well, I think that, can you hear me okay, Babs?
Yes.
Okay, good. My sound something weird now. I think I finally got it figured out. It's funny because I go live at 5:30 a.m.
Yes.
But I get up at 3:20 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So what I learned over time as I was doing the show, don't nobody want to hear no sleepy, ratchety voice, so I've got to be the most energetic person in the room. So the best way to be the most energetic person in the room at 5:30 a.m. is to get up at 3:20. So I done already been up 2 hours by the time we get rocking and rolling. I've done all my morning routine stuff. I'm ready to rock and roll. So that's the trick, is if you want your voice to be amazing at 5:30, get up at 3:20.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Glenn. Do you do any type of morning techniques, lip trills, or anything like that to be able to get your voice so you can be able to go to the different ranges that you want, or you just get up and just start talking and then it just naturally wakes up? What do you do?
Yeah, it's just time to go, So I do a lot of prep in the morning. I'm a firm believer it's the way you start your day, make a massive impact in your life. And so, I wake up, I drink a big glass of ice water every single morning. I throw my headphones on, listen to some good instrumental music, because I don't want anybody else's words influencing my state first thing in the morning, right? No nothing like that. And gratitude, I start with gratitude and then goals. And then once I get to all that, I start writing and I write out the show and you know, so there's a whole process mentally. I'm not actually speaking, but mentally I've got to get into a certain state so that when it's time, I truly believe that God uses me as a vessel to inspire others. And so when it's time to channel, allow his words to flow out of my mouth, you know, I'm ready, physically, spiritually, mentally ready. And then he just helps with the delivery.
Awesome. But that's a good thing because, you know, the one thing he does is make sure that we are ready and loaded for whatever the day brings.
Yeah, amen to that.
Absolutely. And it's so important. The one thing I was really excited about was you getting us started and getting us back into our day with I was doing this, I think you did a 75-day challenge in the Bible. And I was like, oh goodness, well, I haven't really been reading like I need to. So let me do this. It was the best thing ever. Because, you know why? It put me back into routine. Then I started the morning 5. And then I was like, okay, well, you know, hey, this helps. Not only that, not only are you getting yourself together and getting yourself mentally prepared, but you're also having someone else wake up a little easier and happier about their day. So that was something I was like, oh, this is absolutely amazing, you know. So I really appreciate you for that, getting me back in the swing of things. So definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that worked for you, man. I'm such a simple person. Like I'm so that I just need little steps. Like just do A, B, C, D, E, make it easy. It's so easy a caveman can do it. And so I've got all these little systems in my life, you know, all these they're just basic, simple things, but they compound over time, you know, and having a strong morning routine like the morning 5 or reading in the Word every single day. Those types of things, it creates that discipline, creates that consistency. It's something that's predictable. A lot of things are not. Gets us grounded, and over time, it really makes a difference, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how much doing just those little things every day can really impact everything around you.
Absolutely. Which brings me to my next question. And pardon me, because I just realized my light's changing because my other light's not on. I'm going to cut it on in a minute. But I'm going to ask you a question now, Glenn. Now, you know, we're talking about Pro Tools. And what do I mean by Pro Tools? What are the professional tools that you use to get yourself ready and prepare yourself so you can be able to be the greatest speaker in America? So now that I know that we have been talking about this event, almost a month, at least a month, on Breakfast with Champions. And I want to know, how did you prepare yourself for you to be able to get up there and be able to speak to the people? Are there any techniques? Are there any secrets other than, you know, the things that you told us as far as what you do for the morning? I want to say for the morning 5, but for the morning as you're getting up to speak to us, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, so for that particular event, it was interesting because I only had, you know, a 3-minute window. I had to deliver a message in 3 minutes. I had to deliver a message in 3 minutes, and so timing mattered. Now, normally with hold on, sorry. So normally, you know, if I'm speaking on a stage, I got 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That's like a loose, you know, it's a loose 30 minutes. It might be 30 minutes and 35 seconds, or it might be 45, maybe 46, maybe 47 minutes. I got a little leeway to finish a sentence, but in that particular event, I had 3 minutes. They said, if you go a second over, you're disqualified, you're out. And so for that particular event, I had an old strategy that a friend of mine had taught. He's an actor. And he had taught me that when you are looking to memorize your lines, to make sure that you hit everything. He's a Broadway performer, so you have to hit everything right on spot. He said the best thing that you can do, obviously you read your lines, you verbally speak your lines, But he said the trick and what worked for me is to grab a blank piece of paper and a pencil and to write. So I put everything aside, no notes, and I wrote out my 3-minute speech. And the first time I wrote, it didn't match word for word. So I was off. So then I had to memorize it a little bit more and then write it out. So the morning of the event, I wrote the 3-minute speech and I looked and it matched word for word with my 3-minute speech. So that's when I knew, I know this, right? I can do this and I can fit it in the time. So that would be just a little trick is whatever you're looking to say, if you can write it verbatim, word for word, over and over, without looking, without cheating, then you know you got it on lock.
Very good. Very good. So a couple of things. When you were doing this and I was listening to you, because I'm always, again, I told you I'm always analyzing you. First of all, you were so impactful and it was very emotional, but it was super relatable because so many of us go through that, So when you turn around and ask the question, who are you? It does make us stop, think, and ponder. So I just, I thought about, first of all, it was so calculated. And one thing I say to everyone, especially as a vocal coach, is you have got to practice. You have got to practice and prepare. And it's several ways to prepare. And my one thing I wanted to ask you is when you're preparing for something like this, because talking like that, you will wind up getting cotton mouth. Do you start drinking liquids so your body can be liquidated ahead of time and then have a few sips before you get on stage? Or how do you go about doing that? Or do you not?
Yeah, so usually, interesting, at this last particular event, I tried not to drink anything before because I didn't want to have to pee when it was my time because everything was on time. So I tried not to drink anything before. But if you notice, right at the end of that speech, Grant Cardone slides me his water because my lips were like white, like I was so parched because I hadn't drank anything. And so normally for a normal speaking event, I do not eat before I speak. The main reason for that is I just, stories of Michael and people poisoning him right before the game. Like the last thing I want to do is get sick when somebody has invested time, energy, effort, and money into me. I want to be able to deliver, and I don't want to eat a bad piece of pineapple or something that's got me sick on the stage. So I never eat before I speak. Even if I don't speak till 5:00 at night, I just won't eat all day. But as far as I try to stay hydrated, right? Water, up till about 90 minutes before I actually speak. Because again, I don't want to have to pee. You don't want to have to pee in the middle of a 45-minute keynote. Trust me, it ain't no good. You ain't got nowhere to go. Excuse me, folks, I'm going to go pee real quick. You can't do that.
Right.
So lots of water leading up, but about 90 minutes, cut the water off, get ready, get mentally, hit the stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you because it's so important. And I know this is some of the practices that I talk about as well, is always keeping yourself hydrated. That way, when it's time, you don't have that problem. And that's where you sort of answered my second question. That was, what do you eat prior to? Which you said you don't eat. So that's nothing. A good thing, because that way you have nothing choking you ahead, no salty things, because it will choke you.
Yeah.
So it's important that you are doing proper hydrations. Now, how about gums? Do you do any types of gums prior to?
No, but I'm not a gum dude. Like I don't chew gum, period. Like ever. But a mint, maybe every once in a while, just to get the mouth salivated, right? A mint, maybe a Jolly Rancher. You're learning my words now. Maybe a little Jolly Rancher, something like that. I might throw a little candy in. And part of that too is I know after I'm done speaking, I'm gonna be face to face with a lot of people. So it's important that the breath don't stink. So anything we can do to freshen that up is a good thing.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I forgot I put it in my pocket. So I was going to talk to you about some things, but first of all, some of these things will dry you out, but the one thing you want to keep with you are these little Listerine packets.
Nice.
They help you. It's time to talk to the people. I forgot it was in my pocket. It just happened to had a meeting earlier.
I love it. I love it.
So it's so important, and one thing I really appreciate this, because I'm always talking to public speakers. As I told you, I work with professional public speakers in their preparatory and before they mount the stages and things that they should and should not do. So therefore, it will not distract the message that they're trying to give, and they're able to be able to do that. So let me ask you this: do you do any type of, how? Oh my gosh, Ramon Ray would be a perfect example. Now you see how clear and articulate Ramon is, and he speaks so fast.
Yeah.
Do you do any types of tongue twisters prior to being able to speak so you can continue to speak clearly and effectively and fluently?
I don't do any tongue twisters. Maybe I should, but I don't. Usually my preparation right before involves, I gotta make sure nobody's looking, right? Usually I listen to Alexander Hamilton, the Broadway musical, Alexander Hamilton. And then about that, there's something, I know every word, every song. And, he's obviously, Lin-Manuel, he's a genius. And a lot of the songs, if you have their, mixture of hip hop and show tunes, basically. And so there's a lot of range as I'm singing all these songs, right? There's high notes, there's low notes, there's a lot of times where they speed up and then they slow down. And so I'll catch my rhythm through Alexander Hamilton before I speak on stage. I'll listen to that for at least 20, 30 minutes. And people will see me, man. People think I'm crazy. I'm walking around singing show tunes behind the stage, but that's what works for me. He hits all the different things, so it's amazing.
And they're so fast and they're articulate. That is such an excellent thing, because that's the one thing we do, and it's so important you do, is have something to be able to give you that articulation so you can be able to speak and be able to say what you need to say effectively and in the timing you need to say it. So that was very good. Great job.
That's right.
All right, let me get I forgot to take off my little sheet.
That's all right. We'll be all right.
So it's so exciting. One thing I want to say to you is, I know that you drink water in the morning, but make sure that you try to do it a little lukewarm, only because it frees the vocal cords. But you have time because you leave from home and travel to the office, because
that's right.
It does shock the vocal cords. So I just want you to find that. But I told you, I'll help you whenever you're ready. You got me here.
Well, thank you, Babs. I appreciate that.
No problem. So now, I already talked to you about that. What type of vocal? Oh, have you ever had any type of vocal issues or anything prior to be able to starting the stage? Because, you've been speaking a long time, and oh my gosh, with over 1,000 shows, I am sure that there are times in the morning that you woke or have awakened and your throat is sore or something is not necessarily where you want it to be. Tell us a little bit about that, and what did you do in order to get through it?
Yeah, sometimes the body doesn't want to perform. The mind's always like, let's go, right? And the body's like, wait a minute, I'm a little sore, I'm a little scratchy, I'm a little whatever. So interestingly enough, there's a couple different things like matcha tea. Sometimes a nice warm matcha tea will open me up and get me where I need to go. I know that this one's bad right here. You don't want me to share, right? But
go ahead.
Top ramen, little top ramen. I know it's salty. I know you ain't supposed to do it. I know, but there's something soothing, nice hot top rum. And I don't know if it's because my mama used to give it to me when I didn't feel good or what. I don't know what it is, but typically something warm, right? Like something warm and soothing on the throat is usually how I get through those times where it doesn't want to open up.
Okay. Well, that works. And yes, I understand it because, one thing about like a chicken noodle soup or something like that, which gives you the same effect as a Roman, top Roman, man,
Right.
It helps. It does help because I agree with you. It feels so, why? Because the vocal cords, they need something and they're sore. They've already been abused. So that leads me to the next question. Do you ever do any type of vocal rest prior to being able to speak?
I guess technically, no, not like when I get done speaking, like if I'm setting up multiple speaking events, I make sure that there's space in between. So I might not necessarily do something right before first of a speaking event, but right after a speaking event, definitely rest my not just my vocals, man. When you leave it all on the stage, like a lot of people don't get it, but it's the most exhausting thing ever. Projecting your voice to the back of a room, trying to really make an impact, like it's exhausting. And so I always have the next day calendars completely cleared off, no appointments, no Zoom calls, no nothing the day after a speaking event. And I never smash them together. Like I'm not going to speak Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can speak Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, but I need a day of rest in between because it literally is like running a marathon every time I'm on that stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. It's so important to do vocal rest because, you can't blow the voice out and it needs time to relax and go back to its natural state. So that is absolutely, and the one thing I've always been telling people is speaking and singing are very, very close in resemblance. Whether you're saying it or you're melodically singing it, you still need to be able to rest, especially. So I'm going to ask you another question because it also affects the way you're speaking. So when you're doing your speaking and when you're talking or projecting to them, are you, and if this is too much, then let me know, but are you using any kind of diaphragmatic going from, hey, I'm talking to you back there, you know what I'm saying? Are you using it from your diaphragm or are you just going natural, wherever it comes out, it just comes out?
The voice are incredibly important, and there's different spaces that we speak from for sure, and it's very intentional. Things that I do, Babs, is before I speak, right? Mm-hmm. I'll know the layout of my stage and my audience, and I will pick 4 seats that are out in the audience, and there's a seat that's right up front. Mm-hmm. There's a seat that's maybe a little further back. There's a seat all the way in the back over here, right? And there's a seat somewhere in between. So I will pick 4 seats out in the audience. Some are further, some are closer. And then what I do is I put this proverbial personality type in each different seat. So I have my high D, I have my high I, my high S, and my high C, if you know anything about the DISC assessment, right? Or I have my flamingo, my whale, my dolphin, and my shark, right? Whichever one, whatever personality, all the same thing. There's basically 4 personalities, right? Your dominant personality, your sharks, then you got your inspirers, your friendly party people, and then you got your support crew, people that are very supportive, and then you've got your type A's, right? That are just, they need the analytics. So I pick those 4 seats, and I put 4 personalities in those seats. And then when I'm on stage, depending on where I am in my flow, I'm always speaking to one of those 4 chairs. So if I'm going over some statistical stuff, some analytical stuff, I'll make sure that I'm speaking directly to my IC, my type A personality, right? I'm speaking to them because I know they need those analytics. Even if that person's not that way, I don't know, but I just presume that they. And then there's other parts where I'm whispering, just talking to the person right there in the front row. That's my inspired person, right? And they love when I get low and I whisper, and it just brings something inside them. They're ready to just jump out the chair. Or I might yell across the room to my high D, all the way in the back. We can, we will, we must, right? And so my speaking pattern goes through those personalities, and the volume is determined by me projecting. I don't care about the microphone. I'm projecting as though I need that person to hear my voice, no microphone at all. And then of course the microphone does its job to make sure everybody else hears it as well. So that's my little hidden secret, my little top secret deal.
Excellent, excellent. And at any time, do you wind up having to use all of them while you're on in this one thing? You're using them all, or because
I use all 4 every.
I was getting ready to say in the 3 minutes you seem to have hit all 4 of them.
That's correct. Yep, I hit all 4 in every presentation. I hit all 4.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Because this is something you mentioned Ramon earlier, and I actually talked to Ramon. He's an incredible speaker, and I talked to Ramon just a little bit about this probably a year and a half ago. I said, Ramon, the way that you speak is phenomenal for those that align with that personality. But for the person that doesn't fit that past personality, you're leaving out a good chunk of the audience. You stay in one personality set, like whichever one you're most comfortable with. If you stay there, you're alienating 75% of your audience. You're only bringing in 25%. So the only way to get the entire audience is to understand personality types and to move way through all 4. Now we can draw in the entire crowd.
That is so good. And that's so profound. I hope you guys are taking notes.
You know who's a master at this, and obviously one of the best speakers ever in the history of the world is Les Brown. If you go back and look at any Les Brown, any time he's ever done it, he does the exact same thing, right? Lots of highs, lots of lows, and he has analytical pieces. He'll say, the great George Washington, or Dr. Florence, whatever, right? Like he includes these little quotes and these stat points to really hit that analytical person with some facts and some stats. And then he's got his laughter for the inspirer, the friendly person, the dolphin, right? He's got his jokes and his laughter. And then he demands, if you can look up, then you can get up, right? That's IDs and his shark personality. So he weaves it beautifully in every one of his presentations, hitting all 4 personality types. Now, speaker, one of the greatest speakers of our time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And love him so much. And it's always it's so amazing how we can control the crowd with what it is that we're saying. And how soon do you know when you're talking to the crowd that you've got them? So then you can take them on this journey with you.
Well, if you study your craft very well, you should have them in the first 5 seconds. You know, I walked out on that stage. What was the first 3 words that I said? Right?
Who are you?
Right. Immediately, everybody's like, right? Are you talking to me? Who am I? Right? Like, and that's really what you want to do with your presentations. You got to grab them in the first 5 seconds. You know, going out and introducing yourself in the first 5 seconds, you've made it about you. And as soon as you make your presentation about you, it's tough to climb back from that. Now, you're always going to have, in any audience, you're going to have 10% of the people are going to love you no matter what. They don't even care. They just love you. There's just something about you. I love them. They I don't know what they said, but I just love them. And then you got 10 pretty much going to hate you no matter what, right? For whatever reason, whatever social biases they might have, whatever they're experiencing in their life, da, 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 da. So that other 80%, what we're really after, right? How do we sway that other 80%? And the only way to do it is to you got to make your presentation about them. So if I come out and I'm like, hey, I'm Glenn, and thank you so much for having me here, and da 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 da, they're like, the people check out. You come in, you say, ooh, oh, no, for real. Like, who are you? And then you say, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 8. Yeah, I got 8 babies. People are like, 8 babies. And now we got them. But one thing I will say, if you are ever in a situation where you have people in the crowd that are for you, and you have people in the crowd that you can clearly see are not digging what it is, they're not picking up what you're putting down. Focus on the ones that are picking up, putting down. We naturally lean those that are in agreement with us. Well, the ones that are in agreement with you, that are nodding their head, that are clapping and cheering, you got them. They good. They good. They don't need any more of you. They already like you. You've already engaged. Now that one that's sitting there like this, arms crossed, stoic faced, that's the one. If you crack that one, you crack them all, right? So that's that trick that I look back to is don't go where we naturally comfortable with going, which is the people who are in agreement. Let's find those ones that are not, and let's crack them open. Then we've done our job.
I love it. I love it, Glenn. Amazing. Okay, people have been sending messages in. I guess they're on Facebook. This one is, how did you know you were born to be a public speaker?
So when I was in kindergarten, Mrs. Sage used to take me to Mrs. Ulibarry's room. Mrs. Ulibarry had a 3rd grade classroom, and Mrs. Sage would take me in there because I was an advanced. So at 5 years old, I was reading at a 6th grade level. And so she would take me into, which I give all the credit to my sister. She used to read me stories every single night. And so she would take me into the 3rd grade room, and they would sit me up on this one of them little like 2-step type stools. And she would sit me on there, and I would read stories to 3rd graders. And being younger than them, they were all bigger than me, but yet eyes were on me, and I felt seen, heard, and significant in those moments. And so I knew then that I learned the power of words right then, and just what a gift that is, and what a strength it is when you can really master words. Your values increase 800%. So I just knew I loved the stage at that point. I knew that speaking was a way for me to connect with people and to bring people into my world and to feel seen, heard, and significant. And this has been a part of my life ever since.
Yes, seen, heard, and significant.
That's what we all want.
Absolutely.
That's what we all want. That's what is seeking. Everyone wants to feel seen, feel heard, feel significant. Absolutely. And this world squashes all of that as we get older and older. It's tell you children, are to be seen and not heard. So sit back and shut up, right? And we get told no 80,000 times before we get out. And then we go out into adulthood, and people don't understand why nobody's out there chasing their dream, right? It's because we wanted to feel seen, heard, and significant, and we didn't. And now we go out into the world, and it seems daunting, right? You got social media, you got millionaires everywhere, you got balling, you got the celebrities, you got all these things, and you're looking at all of that going, man, I'm not significant. All these people are better than me. They're bigger than me. They're more talented than I am. And that's just simply not reality. But we all just desire to feel seen, heard, and significant. And so I try to create opportunities for people to feel that way when they're around me. And I felt that way. And there's nothing better than a stage to make you feel seen, heard, and all eyes on me. Let's go.
That's awesome, because the next question, the person said, where does your passion come from? That's the question.
It comes from gratitude. All of my passion comes from gratitude. I've been homeless. I've been in and out of jail 17 times. I've been depressed, deeply depressed, suicidal, attempted to take my own life. And so now, you know, I wake up and I'm like, holy crap. Like, dude, I'm married. I got babies. I got a roof over my head. I got a show now. I got a business now. Like, there's warm water that comes from the spigot. The thermostat I can change. I got slippers for my feet in the morning, shoes for when I want to run, and another pair of shoes to wear to work, and another shoes if I need to get fancy. Like, I am just so grateful, man. I'm so, yeah. And now I got a jet too, which is crazy. But it's just gratitude. My passion is driven from gratitude because I remember the other side, and I'll never forget the other side. And so that's what drives me, man. That's what drives me. Gratitude.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Glenn. I really appreciate you taking time to come and be with us today and just be able to talk to us about the pro tools that you have, that you use to help you to be who you are. Tracy is one of our guests. And do you have any questions for Mr. Lundy at this time? You there, Tracy? I think we missed her. Okay. All right. So now I know you study and read many books. Oh, is anyone? Oh, wait, I have a question here. So it says, now I know that you study many books, and you do, because you always have us reading so many great books. And now, is it any one of them that helps you to, that is a great influence on you when you're mounting the stage?
Yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read that book multiple times a year. I typically read it before any big speaking event. I'll read it before I'm going to go meet, some cool people that I want to shake hands with. How to Win Friends and Influence People has been incredibly connected to the success that I've had in my relationships with my wife, with my, and with the rest of the world. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Thank you for that book. Go!
Who was it by?
Napoleon Hill.
Oh, Napoleon Hill. That's one of my favorites. He did the Speak and Grow Rich, right?
Think and Grow Rich, yeah.
Oh, Think and Grow Rich. I'm like, I know I got that book. That's a book right here. Yes. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to read that one. So I don't have that one yet. So it's coming. Well, thank you so much. Now, Glenn, do you have anything that you want to say to the people that you want to leave? Any last words with us today?
One last, well, it's actually Dale Carnegie that wrote that book, not Napoleon Hill. Sorry, I get them confused sometimes.
Okay.
When you said Think and Grow Rich, I'm like, wait, hold on. Yeah, wait a minute. Dale Carnegie wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I'm just honored to be here. It's like, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. And for those of you that chose to tune in and listen in, I appreciate you as well. I do know and understand that there are a trillion places you could have been, and you chose to spend time here. And, time is our greatest, most valuable asset that we have in life. And so when someone chooses to invest their time with me, it means everything to me. So with that said, make sure to continue to invest your time into spaces that are worthy, that move you forward, and just continue to seek the greatness and excellence that exists in you. And I'll do the same over here on my side.
Absolutely. Now, Glenn, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can just look me up. Go Glenn Lundy. Go to glennlundy.com. If you would like, you can download a free ebook at themorning5.com. morning5.com, and it'll break down those 5 simple steps that we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast here. 5 to an extraordinary life that you can do every single morning. And I do like starting relationships off that way. So I give you a free book, you find some value from it, and then hit me up. Let's connect. Let's get to know each other. I'd love to get to know you all better. So Thanks, Babs.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, a little bird told me that you might be coming to Dubai. That's my birthday weekend. I will be in Dubai. That's September
Nice.
22nd time. So hopefully we'll cross paths. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person at some point.
I definitely want to make that happen. My daughter, Savannah, she's 13. She loves to travel the world. She wants to go there as well. And her birthday's September 23rd. So it kind of works out. So I think I'm thinking, 95.87% chance I'll be there.
All right. But that sounds like I'm going to really be meeting you, because I'm like, okay, that's my birthday trip. Let's go out there.
All right, guys. Yeah, very exciting.
Thank you. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I am Babs, your international vocal coach, and this was our series of Pro Tools for public speakers. We want to thank Mr. Glenn Lundy for coming and being with us today and dropping those great jewels. We truly, truly appreciate you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always leave them, and I'll make sure that Glenn gets them, or you can just go to glennlundy.com. for more great tips and pro tools, and to help you stay afloat on your professional speaking career. Always look me up at internationalvocalcoach.com. See you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.